Welcome back everyone, Munoz here from Northern Lights TV, back with another video for you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by today. If this is your first time stopping by the channel, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification so you know when I drop some more content. So today what I'm bringing to you guys is a little comparison video. Today we're going to be comparing the Beretta APX A1 against the Smith Wesson M&P. And the reason for that is the other day I was reorganizing my firearms in my safe, and I find myself holding these two firearms and realized how similar these firearms are. So I kind of wanted to compare one to the other, give you my thoughts on each one of these firearms, you know, kind of like a little head to head, and at the end we can decide which one would be better for you to purchase. Obviously this is my opinion based on my experience with these firearms, so based off, you know, how much I've shot them. So this is a sample size of one. So, you know, if you don't agree with it, let me know down in the comments. Maybe you like the M&P better than the Beretta, or the Beretta better than the M&P. So without further ado, let's take a look at these firearms and see how they match up. All right, so here we go. We got the Beretta APX A1 and the Smith Wesson MP 2.0. First thing I'm gonna do is drop that mag. We are clear in the Beretta. Drop the mag on the M&P, and we are clear. All right, so both these firearms have been safety checked. Once again, I just want to go over, you know, the comparison on the firearms, see how they stack up. As you can see, they have a lot of similarities. So let's just start from top to bottom, starting with the Beretta. When it comes to the Beretta's grip, to me it leaves a little bit to be desired. It does have good texturing on the front and the back, but almost no texturing up here. I know they try to make like some texture up here, but you know, it's really actually kind of slippery. And then we do have these index points up here that are actually kind of aggressive. I wish they would have put this kind of material. It's like a sandpaper material. I wish they would have put that all through here. Now the back checkering and the front checkering are very aggressive, and I really like that. You get a very nice undercut on the Beretta, and it lets you get in a nice beaver tail as well. You're able to get pretty high on the gun, so that's really good. The magazine release is in a nice place. We can hit the magazine release and the magazines just shoot right out. So very good. Speaking of the magazines, this is a standard 17 round magazine in the Beretta APX. And now let's take a look at the grip on the M&P. Now, the M&P grip texture is a very aggressive grip texture. This is my favorite grip texture out of pretty much any firearm, just because of how aggressive it is. This aggressive texture really makes that gun stick to your hand when you're shooting it. It's not gonna move anywhere. Now I do wish that Smith & Wesson would put some texture up here, just like the Beretta has. But again, you know, nice beaver tail, and that undercut right here also helps you get pretty good grip and a high grip on the firearm. So great recoil management when it comes to this firearm. Again, the magazine release is in a great place. You hit that magazine release, these magazines shoot out. Now, this is the M&P compact, so it does come standard with the 15 round capacity, but they're compatible with the 17 round magazines. All you need is that little grip sleeve right there, and now you have a 17 round firearm. So if you want something with a 1/4 inch shorter barrel and slide, you can get the compact. Now they do sell this in a full size as well, so you'll get a 4 1/4 inch barrel and slide, and then the additional grip. But you can just throw that grip sleeve. It also has that very aggressive grip texture on the sleeve, so that's good. And then you have a 17 round capacity in the M&P. So when it comes to grip texture with both of these, I'm gonna have to give it to the M&P, just because the grip texture, I like it a lot more. This really only has texture in the front and the back, which is okay. I mean, it doesn't affect my shooting with it. I just like the grip better, if that makes sense. Looking at the trigger guards, I do like the trigger guard on the Beretta better than I do the M&P because of this double undercut. And I'm more of a fan of the squared off trigger guards. You know what I mean? The front of the trigger guard is also serrated. So that allows you to get a pretty good grip on there. You can put your finger up here if you want to. I know some people shoot like that. I find it a little bit uncomfortable, but I like to do just a high grip here. So the trigger guard, I like it better on the Beretta. On the M&P, it's this rounded trigger guard. You still get plenty of space if you need to fit a glove finger in there and everything. The front, however, is not serrated. Looking at the bottom, they both come with a 3-slot Picatinny, so that's great. 3-slot Picatinny on the APX. They both have a dust cover as well. I usually keep my Streamlight TLR7A on this firearm. That's how I carry it. I just took it off for the video so they can be a little bit more comparable. Slide stop, slide release. I do like it better on the M&P. The Berettas is actually a little stiff, so I'll go ahead and lock it back for you. On the M&P, it's really easy when you have your grip here. It's really easy to hit that without having to change your grip. You just press down right there and the slide will come forward. It's very natural. I don't have to change my grip. Show you one more time. I don't have to change my grip. All I got to do is hit this slide stop slide release with my thumb. Very, very nice slide stop slide release. And they did make it a little bit more extended from the previous generations as well. With the Beretta, for some reason with these magazines, I can't seem to get a lock back. I tried making sure it's all the way inserted, and for whatever reason, I can't get a lock back with these magazines. I'm sure that's just magazine related. But the slide stop slide release is a lot stiffer on this firearm. I gotta put a good amount of force for it to go home. It's not as easy as the Smith & Wesson. It's also a pretty low profile slide stop slide release. I like the little more extended. It's just easier for me to hit. Takedown levers, of course, are pretty much the same. They're just a push down takedown lever on both of them, and they're both serrated, so that's good. They both come with front and rear slide serrations. The slide serrations, I want to say I kind of like better on the Beretta just because of how deep they're actually cut. These slide serrations are very, very deep, and you can get a really, really good grip. And even though I like them on the Beretta better, the M&P still has very, very nice slide serrations. I'm a big fan of these fish scale serrations. Again, it makes it real easy for you to get a good grip on them, whether you're racking it from the front or from the back. Amazing slide serrations on the M&P as well. Obviously, both of these are optic ready, so that's a plus on both. I'm not sure what plate this is that came, since I bought the firearm with the Burst Fastfire 3, I'm not sure what plate is on here. It came like that from the factory. So we got the Burst Fastfire 3, both of them except red dots, which is amazing. You can see the Burst Fastfire 3 there. The reason I would go with the M&P, well, I guess when it comes to the red dot, it doesn't really matter, right? I'm using the regular plate that came with the Smith & Wesson. I know a lot of people don't like them because they're plastic, but I've never had a single issue with them. They work just fine. I've never had anything break on them. They haven't warped or anything. I don't lose zero. So they're both red dot compatible. What I was gonna say is I would go with the sights when it came to the Smith & Wesson because they're suppressor height sights. So with the Beretta here, I can't get a co-witness. You know what I mean? I can't, the sights aren't tall enough to get a co-witness. They don't come from the factory with suppressor height sights. Although these are really nice sights, right? Because you get a tritium night sight up at the front and a blacked out serrated rear. They are really nice sights, but you can't use them. So if this optic were to die on me, I couldn't use these sights to get a co-witness, you know what I mean? So when it comes to the sights, I would definitely go with the Smith & Wesson because you do get suppressor height steel sights from the factory. So you can see there I can get a co-witness if my red dot ever fails or if it dies. So plus right there. Now the Smith & Wesson also comes with the loaded chamber indicator. You don't get that with the Beretta APX. So if there's a round in the chamber, the only way I'm gonna be able to know that is if I press check, right? If I press check to see if there's a round in the chamber. Now with the Smith & Wesson, if there is a round loaded in there, I'll be able to see it through this loaded chamber indicator, or I can do a press check. I am gonna just load one round. Don't worry guys, we're in a safe, controlled environment, and I will not be putting my finger on the trigger, so YouTube, please don't freak out. So you can see down there, now you can see the brass through the window, and that's how I know I have a round in the chamber, okay? Gonna go ahead and unload this firearm. There we go. Double check. We are good to go. Now let's talk about triggers. The Beretta APX does have a very nice trigger. I really like the trigger on the Beretta APX. So we can see here is our take up, a little bit of creep, and then we have our break. And then it also has a really nice reset. Right there. Not too long of a reset, break, reset. So very nice trigger in the Beretta APX. However, it does feel just a little spongy in my opinion. So when it comes to triggers, I do like the M&P trigger better, especially with these new 2.0 flat face trigger. They did an amazing upgrade from the curved trigger over there at Smith & Wesson. This trigger is just amazing. So we get our take up right there. We hit a defined wall, and then our trigger breaks. I feel absolutely no creep. And then the reset right there. Now the reset's not as audible on the M&P, but the way I shoot, to be honest with you, I don't even, with any firearm, I'm not looking to hear or feel the reset, because the way that I shoot, by the time I break that round, my trigger's coming off, my trigger finger's coming off, and I'm getting right back on that wall. So I don't shoot off the reset or anything, so that doesn't really bother me that it's not as audible, you know what I mean? But it does have a really nice reset. So trigger wise, I would definitely go with the M&P. Now let's talk about size. So these are virtually the exact same size. The Beretta APX is just a hair longer on the slide and barrel, being that this is actually considered a full-size pistol, but you can see right there just how little really, how much longer it actually is, and it's not by very much. On the width, you can see the M&P is definitely a slimmer pistol, so that's always good. A more slim, compact size. Really like that. And then when it comes to the width, the M&P is also a slimmer firearm. Now, being that this is a standard 15 round firearm and the Beretta has standard 17 rounds, the grip is a little longer on the Beretta, you can see right there. But if I compare it to an actual full-size Smith & Wesson, like my M&P Metal here, both of these are standard 17 rounds, and you can see the grip is the same size. But like I said, with these mag sleeves, you can get 17 rounds in the compact. So that's a little bit of the size and feature comparisons. Now I want to go ahead and talk about shooting comparisons. Now when it comes to shooting comparisons with these firearms, both of them are absolutely great shooters. I haven't had a single malfunction with either one of these firearms. Of course, with the Beretta APX, I believe I only have about 250 rounds through this firearm so far. So far less shooting experience with the Beretta APX, but it is a really good shooter. I really enjoyed my time out on the range with this firearm. I think the only issue I had was like no lockbacks, but I didn't have any kind of malfunction. I didn't have any kind of catastrophic failure or any failure for that matter with the Beretta APX. Now with the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0, I definitely have way more experience with this firearm, being that I have other M&Ps and previous generations of the M&P And with this particular firearm, I have over 1,000 rounds through it. So again, an amazing shooting experience with the M&P compact, and any M&P pistol for that matter. Never had any kind of catastrophic malfunctions either. The only thing that I did have with this particular firearm was one light primer strike, and obviously that was ammo related, not firearm related. Being that I have more experience with the M&P, I'll have to go with the M&P, obviously, when it comes to shooting experience. Again, like I said before, this is just based off my experience. You might have a different experience. And if you did have a different experience, let me know how that went. You know, why would you prefer the Beretta APX as far as shooting wise? Another thing when it comes to shooting experience, the ergonomics on the M&P to me just feel a whole lot better. I feel like I get a much better grip with this firearm. It just fits natural in my hand and I absolutely love it. The Beretta also has really good ergonomics as well. But I think the reason my shooting experience is more enjoyable with the M&P is due to that better grip texture as well, and the better trigger. All right, so now that we've gone over all of that, it's time to go over pricing, which I'm sure you all want to know. The Beretta APX A1 can be found around $500. And that's, you know, pretty much out the door. I did pay right about $500 for the Beretta APX A1 full size with the burst fast fire included. I think it was like around $480 plus tax. So right around $500, which is amazing, amazing, amazing. Great value at a great price. Now, with the Smith Wesson MP 2.0, I got this one also for around $500. I paid for this firearm with a bundle, so it came with a range bag and it came with two 15-round magazines and two 23-round magazines for $499. So I paid about the same for both of them, just a little more for the M&P after taxes. But for the value, I mean, that was great value, you know what I mean? You get a great firearm and a whole bundle. The Beretta came with just a case and two magazines, one in the firearm, one extra, and some cleaning stuff as well. So, you know, if it comes to price, they're kind of around the same. You can get the Beretta a little cheaper without the optic as well. So I think without the optic, you're looking at around $450 maybe out the door with taxes and everything. So great value again for a great pistol. That just depends on your budget, you know what I mean? If you're kind of in a pinch, you might rather go with the Beretta. If you can afford that bundle with the M&P, you can get that for right around $500. So when it comes to pricing, that's really up to you, really up to your budget, you know what I mean? Would I rather spend a little more to get the M&P versus the Beretta? Absolutely. Would I be mad if I ended up with the Beretta instead of the M&P? Absolutely not. It's still a fantastic firearm. All right, with all that being said, which one would I pick if I could only choose one? If I can only choose one firearm, the Beretta APX or the M&P 2.0, I'm sure you all know I would much rather go with the M&P 2.0. Like I said, more shooting experience with it. I know that platform very well. Great price within my budget, great trigger, great ergonomics, all the above. That's what I would choose. Now, are you missing out if you go with the APX A1? Like I said, you're not. It's absolutely great firearm. There's features I like better on the APX than I do with the M&P, and other features I like better on the M&P than I do the APX. It's all personal opinion. It's just based off what you like, really. You know, some people are you know, they want that name, the reliability that comes with the Beretta name. You know, it's the oldest firearms manufacturer in the world. These are tested. I believe they put 10,000 rounds through this firearm before they sell them, you know, so they are tested. In M&P, they are getting more and more law enforcement contracts. I don't know if you guys follow Smith & Wesson on Instagram, but they're constantly posting. I want to say I saw like 3 posts within the last month of new contracts that they've gotten with law enforcement agencies, which is great. More police force are trusting this platform, and it just has a great reputation, very reliable, and it's definitely time tested and proven. So now it's time for you to let me know down in the comments, which one would you pick? Would you go with the APX A1 or with the M&P 2.0? Let me know your choice down in the comments. All right, everyone, that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Again, make sure you like the video, subscribe, turn on your bell notifications so you know when I drop some more content. And as always, stay safe, stay protected, keep it on you, and I'll see you on the next one.